Coming up on tonight's broadcast, an ASOSU budget meeting goes forward, an Oregon man mails suspicious white powder, and another earthquake strikes Japan just days after the one-year anniversary of the devastating tsunami.
All that and more right here on the Beaver News. Welcome and happy Pi Day, and welcome to your Wednesday night edition of the Beaver News. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Cassady Gilroy.
And I'm Courtney Becker. Oregon State University's main campus and extended campus is introducing a form of hybrid courses for the upcoming spring term. As reported by the Daily Barometer, hybrid courses are half in the classroom and half online. Enrolled students are required to show up to class for half the required class time of a normal lecture class, and most of the material is available online. With the rapidly growing number of students, these trial classes are meant to see if more students could be accommodated. The new trial hybrid classes for the spring are based on the popularity among students. These courses will not cost any extra money or fees.
The Associated Students of Oregon State University combined for a joint session with the House of Representatives and the Senate last night to discuss student budgets, reports Don Isle of the Daily Barometer. The joint sessions approved all budgets presented to it by the Student Incidental Fee Committee. This resulted in a total decrease in student fees by 2.8%, and the student incident fee for next year to be just over $447. Among the other student fees discussed were student health services that saw a drop of approximately $11, meaning a charge of approximately $90. Athletics will now cost $41. Counseling and psychological services will remain the same at $35. Student facilities funding saw the biggest jump due to the approved construction of the Student Experience Center. It will mean a $65 student fee. These budget proposals will now await the approval of President Ed Ray and the Oregon University system.
Oregon State University and the Corvallis community are in the process of finding opportunities for saving energy. Last year, there was a contest that took place called The Great Work, Reimaging Humanity as the Planet Changes, which had OSU students submit videos and written works on useful and unique ways of saving energy. As reported by the Daily Barometer, the winners of this contest will be featured at the screening of the new film, Journey of the Universe, which will be shown on Monday, April 9th at 7 p.m. at the LaSalle Stewart Center. Corvallis residents can also get involved through the campus's Take Charge Challenge, which they can select from 90 unique energy-saving actions. We now go to Sean Cisna, who sat down with OSU professor Bill Logis to talk about the upcoming National Associations of Broadcasters Conference. Sean?
Hey everybody, this is Sean Cisna reporting for KBVR News, and today I'm here with Dr. William Bill Logis.
Good to see you again, Sean.
Good to see you. And he teaches, he's an associate professor for New Media Sociology here, and we're going to talk about NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters Convention, and Bill Logis, chaperone for the event. So why don't you tell us a little bit about NAB?
The National Association of Broadcasters show, as you know they call it, is one of the largest trade shows in Las Vegas. Every year they've held this convention in Las Vegas. And it fills the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is a massive space. Thousands of separate companies come to display their latest hardware and software and show off the programming that they have available that year for syndication. We offer NMC majors and minors the opportunity to apply for this internship. And we began sending about 4 or 5 students a year back in 2003 when the new media program was launched. And over the years, our students have done such good work. You met Ann, the supervisor of the interns. She's been impressed every year. And so we've been sending more and more. I think there's 2 primary benefits that virtually everyone who goes, no matter what they actually do at the show, can benefit from. One is to realize how enormous the field of media is. In other words, all the different kinds of work that people do. And that's really just related to focusing on broadcasting. But there's such a range of jobs, and I think you can go through the major and not fully appreciate just what the opportunities are and the range of skills people need and can succeed in. So that's one thing. It just trains you a bit in a way that we never could,
One of my responsibilities and the other responsibilities of some of the interns there with me was basically running all the behind the scenes stuff of the convention. And a lot of it is really just being personable and knowing how to professionally conduct yourself when working with other people in the industry.
It was so much smoother than I feared it would be. It was my first year there, and I was stressed out. I had never chaperoned 8 students in Las Vegas for a week before. I was dreading all of that. But everyone was so well behaved and so responsible. There was simply never a problem. Everyone got to work on time, got back intact, and just the logistics of the travel, everything went so smoothly. It was so well arranged. And chaperones went to downtown Las Vegas. The show is on the Strip, but we went downtown where things are closer together. It's a more relaxed atmosphere. It's cheaper. And people just kind of went their separate ways for a while, but at the end of the night, we were all gathered back in the main plaza thinking about how we were going to get back to the hotel, and we just assumed we'd take taxis, but I think you stumbled upon a limo driver who just happened to have an empty car and wanted to end his evening, and so for, what, $10 a piece, I think it was, what we would have spent on a taxi, really. We got to drive down the Strip in this limo.
NAB is really just a priceless experience, just for that reason alone of getting closer to the peers that you get to work with while you're there.
Good game plan. That was fun. That was where we all got together. It was great. So, well, thank you so much again for
You're
your
welcome,
time.
Sean. I'm glad to do it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you again.
Take care.
Sounds like an amazing opportunity for OSU students. Thanks, Sean. Inspiration for the popular television show House MD visited Oregon State University last night to provide her own insight to the show as well as her experiences in medicine. As reported by Amanda Antel of the Daily Barometer, hundreds gathered at the LaSalle Stewart Center to hear her speak, as well as attend the book signing event. Lisa Saunders, along with being the technical advisor for the show, is also an assistant medical professor at Yale University and a column writer for the New York Times with her blog entitled Think Like a Doctor. Her presentation last night was an educational speech, not only on the show, but the importance of the patients and what real-life doctors can actually take away from House. Particularly, she highlighted the importance of giving the patient a chance to speak, which will lead to better communication, faster recovery, and less pain. She said, quote, "Our patients trust us with their stories, and it's our job to take them." We're heading to a first short break, but don't go anywhere because when we return, we have a weather update and a look at news around the nation. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Beaver News, right here on KBVR. Oregon State University has named Dr. Vincent Remcho, chemistry professor and faculty member since 1998, as the interim dean of College of Science. The Daily Barometer reports that Remcho succeeds Dr. Sherman Bloomer, who is now the director of budget and fiscal planning for Oregon State. Remcho previously served as the associate dean for research and graduate studies in the College of Science and was a professor of chemistry with a specialty in analytical chemistry. A national search for a full-time dean is now taking place, and according to Dr. Remcho, a committee is now being constituted. Despite his promotion to the dean's office, Dr. Remcho will continue teaching. He will teach a class next term for graduate students in analytical chemistry.
German filmmaker and artist Stefan Roloff will be bringing his latest documentary film, The Red Orchestra, to Oregon State University. The Red Orchestra chronicles a resistance group of citizens who fought the Nazis. Roloff's father, Helmut Roloff, was one such citizen. Done mostly through pioneering animation techniques that resemble moving black and white drawings, the film will also use reenactments for scenes that have only been described and never shown, such as Gestapo interrogations of the resistance groups. Roloff is an independent artist and filmmaker working in Berlin and New York. He has received a 1989 fellowship from the New York Foundation for the Arts for his pioneering digital work. He will also be conducting a workshop for this film. The workshop and the screening of the film will be conducted on Tuesday, April 3rd, and are both free to attend.
Christopher Lee Carlson was arrested in Portland last Friday after sending approximately 100 threatening letters containing a suspicious white powdery substance to the congressional offices as well as the Justice Department. 4 members of Congress received these letters threatening to use a biological weapon, but thankfully no one was injured. According to CNN, Carlson is to be arraigned next Monday and is to be faced with charges of mailing threatening communication to members of Congress. Threats are very common to be made towards congressional offices, but precautions against a toxic chemical attack is taken very seriously, ever since letters containing anthrax was sent to news organizations and congressional offices that killed 5 people and made 17 others horribly ill in 2001. Cassady will now give us a look at our upcoming forecast.
Tonight I have your 5-day forecast. Expect rain with a low of 46 degrees tonight. And on Thursday, we have some more rain with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 41 degrees. On Friday, we're going to have even more rain with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 36 degrees. And then on Saturday, looks like we're going to have yet again more rain with a high of 48 and a low of 34. And Sunday, as expected, more rain with a high of 48 and a low of 30 degrees at night. That's your 5-day forecast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Looks like this rain is here to stay as we head into finals week. A Florida teen was shot to death while on his way home from a local convenience store. Trayvon Martin, 17, called 911 to report a suspicious man, but by the time the police arrived at the scene, Martin was found dead with a gunshot wound in his chest. According to CNN, the shooter, George Zimmerman, claimed the shooting to be for self-defense. The shooting had sparked an outrage in the community, with many believing that Zimmerman, who is white, of profiling the black teenager. Stanford Police Chief Bill Lee stated that, quote, "The evidence and testimony we have so far does not establish that Mr. Zimmerman did not act in self-defense. We don't have anything to dispute his claim of self-defense at this point, with the evidence and the testimony that we have."
The Federal Transit Administration is expected to approve $900 million to improve San Francisco's rapid transit rail line, reports CNN. This will extend the rail line from the Bay Area to the Silicon Valley. Rayla Hood, the Secretary of Transportation, commented, quote, "President Obama called on us to rebuild America by putting people back to work on transportation projects that are built to last. All across America, we have critical transportation work that needs to be done and Americans who are ready to do the work," end quote. The project is expected to begin in April and will extend the system by 10 miles. It will also create more than 1,600 jobs and provide new construction in the housing, business, and tourism sectors. It is now time for a final break of the evening, but we will have a look at more of your national and international stories in just a minute. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Beaver News live on Channel 26. Concerns arise over the coral reefs in Florida Keys as 2 of the region's most important corals are in drastic decline and were put on the endangered species list earlier today. As reported by CNN, the 2 corals, known as staghorn and elkhorn, are dying due to a variety of reasons, including climate change, pollution, and overfishing. Thankfully, efforts are already being made to restore the reefs. Ken Nedemeyer, a commercial fisherman, tropical fish collector, and founder of the Coral Restoration Foundation, has been working on restoring coral reefs for years. The foundation has already grown more than 25,000 staghorn and elkhorn corals in underwater nurseries, which cover more than an acre of the ocean floor. Nedemeyer plans to grow and transplant more than 50,000 corals in the Florida Keys within the next 5 years.
Da Vinci's painting, The Battle of Angari, was lost during the restoration project 50 years after it was created and was recently found hidden behind a Giorgio Vasari painting in Florence, Italy. CNN states that the theory is that Vasari built a brick wall in front of Da Vinci's plaster wall, effectively preserving the old masterpiece. Researchers believe that this painting is the famous missing piece based on matching paint pigmentation from Da Vinci's Mona Lisa and St. John the Baptist. Researchers found a fairly large-sized air gap between the hidden plaster wall and the newer brick wall, which suggests that Vasari may have tried to preserve Da Vinci's mural.
3 days after the 1-year anniversary of the tragic earthquake and resulting tsunami that devastated Japan, yet another earthquake struck the country earlier today. As reported by CNN, a 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook northeastern Japan. The earthquake was centered approximately 170 miles off the east coast. The Japanese Meteorological Agency issued a brief tsunami advisory warning of a half-meter wave. However, this was repealed shortly after. As of yet, there have been no immediate reports of damage. The earthquake that struck last year reached a 9-point magnitude and waves reached a high of 133 feet. Several nuclear reactors were affected as well, resulting in ongoing Level 7 meltdowns. Thankfully, no further damage has been reported to the nuclear reactors.
A bus crashed yesterday on its way back from a ski trip in Switzerland. According to CNN, 22 children and 6 adults died when the bus lost control and crashed into the wall of a tunnel. 3 children were hospitalized in critical condition, and others are expected to be discharged from the hospital within the next couple of days. Investigators are focusing on 3 potential causes for the accident, saying that it could have been caused by, quote, a technical issue with the bus, a health problem with the driver, or human error, end quote. The children on the bus, ages 11 to 12, were found to be wearing their seatbelts, but the impact was so great that the seatbelts came to be useless. The European Parliament and the Swiss Assembly fell silent to mark the tragedy and paid tribute to those killed and their families.
Actor, director, and activist George Clooney testified before Congress earlier today about what he called a campaign of murder currently ongoing in Sudan, so reports CNN. Clooney, along with a small team of fellow activists, managed to enter one of the most devastated areas, the Nuba Mountains in South Kordofan, as part of his efforts to raise awareness of the challenges and crimes being orchestrated in that part of the world. This particular group was part of an anti-genocide group Clooney co-founded, known as the Enough Project. U.S. officials at the Senate committee hearing agreed there is a looming humanitarian crisis in the region. Nancy Lindbergh of the U.S. Development Agency, USAID, said, quote, it is imperative to have immediate humanitarian access to all communities affected by conflict in South Kordofan, end quote. Much of the violence in the region is attributed to ethnic conflicts and also for control of the country's oil supply, which is currently offline due to the crisis. We now go to Mary Johnson for a look at Pac-12 sports.
Good evening, Corvallis. Hope everyone has had a good day and was able to stay dry. The Oregon State men's basketball team has accepted the College Basketball Invitational bid, and they tipped off against Western Illinois at 7 p.m. tonight in Gill Coliseum. The CBI has come quite far since Oregon State won it in 2009, which was Robinson's first year as head coach. This year, teams participating in the tournament includes Pittsburgh, a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament last year, and Butler, who has played in at least 2 NCAA championship games. The Beavers are confident about their chances in the CBI. Around the Pac-12, swimmers and divers from 8 Pac-12 teams headed to the 2012 NCAA Championships this week at the James E. Martin Aquatic Center in Auburn, Alabama. Stanford has claimed 8 crowns overall, while USC won in 1997 and Arizona captured the national title in 2008. ESPN3 will carry a live broadcast of the final sessions on Friday and Saturday. The remaining 4 sessions will be streamed live on CBSSports.com. Defending NCAA and Pac-12 champion Cal seeks its 3rd title in 4 years. The group of 14 swimmers features many All-Americans from the 2011 title team. USC's group of 13 is led by senior Katina Hazoo, who looks to defend her 3 NCAA titles in the 200 and 400 IM and 200 flying. Arizona will take 10 swimmers and 1 diver to Auburn. 7 swimmers and senior diver Elena Eggers will represent Arizona State. UCLA has a group of 6 swimmers headed to Auburn. Utah sophomore Tracy Schwartz will swim in the 50 freestyle, 100 free, and 100 fly. Oregon State senior Rachel O'Brien heads to her 2nd straight NCAA championship. O'Brien will compete in the 100 and 200 fly. In the final week before the Pac-12 Conference softball play opens, the league holds steady with 7 teams both in the national polls. California continues to hold the #1 spot in the ESPN.com USA Today rankings. The Pac-12 will face several top 25 teams this week. Oregon starts off the action by hosting #1 to Alabama on Tuesday. Arizona State, and Washington travel to the Beauty Garment Classic in Fullerton, California. Cal is off to Honolulu for the Hawaii Spring Fling. It has been a great week in college softball. Taking a look at Pac-12 basketball, Washington is ranked Washington is ranked #1 with a record of 14-4. Cal and Oregon are tied at 2nd with 13-5 record. Arizona is 3rd with 12-6. Colorado and UCLA are tied for 4th. Stanford is ranked 5th. Oregon State and Washington State are tied for 6th. And to round out the Pac-12 is Arizona State, Utah, and USC. And that's your look at Pac-12 sports.
Thanks, Mary. Well, that's all the news we have for you this evening, but be sure to tune in with us tomorrow at 7 p.m. for more of your local, national, and international coverage right here on the Beaver News. Have a good night, everyone.